is what truly does work for SEO? What works for it and what doesn't work?
So what doesn't work is well, I should say it this way. What doesn't work over the long term and really cause you to grow is, say you do some research and you get your keywords. I don't really like referring to them as keywords anymore because it doesn't really fit. It's more of key topics or keyword families or keyword topics. Like if when you're writing a page, what works now for especially with Google is you never write for Google. And Google has said this for about 10 years now. They said, don't write for us. You write to answer the user's question. Now, it used to be Google would say that, but you still had to do these little tricks of stuffing these keywords in as much as you could and all that to get it to work. It doesn't anymore. They are sophisticated enough that they care about, are you answering what the user is asking for? Are you an established authority? Like, are you speaking authoritatively? Can they trust what you're saying? Is there some of the best things people can do is put a human side to themselves on their website. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how long I've been doing it. This is why. And use that language throughout, combined with you're answering their questions. So like, I've seen blogs from clients where we take them over and their blog post they're doing is trying to grab a question around. Let me take a step back. So if I just bumped the camera, so give me just a second.
You're good.
There we go. It's on a music stand. So if I were to do research, I'm gonna pretend you're a siding contractor. Each page has a specific purpose for SEO. So your main siding page, its purpose is to sell the siding. Its purpose, well, not sell the siding, sell your service about the siding. So a mistake I've seen where people make there is they make that page about siding. But now you're competing with box stores to sell siding. You're not selling siding, you're selling the service of installing the siding. So you should be speaking about your siding installation services. So you need to write it to answer what your clients are looking for. And a lot of contractors, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what questions are people asking you? When you go to sell this siding, what are people asking you? How are people talking to you? When you go to their house and you meet with them, what are they asking you? Well, guess what? Those are those things you need to deal with on that page, because when you're now answering on the website things they're asking you in person. And those two things are very directly connected. And Google will see that and see you're answering what they're talking about. And as a professional that deals with the customers, you know what your customers are asking. You know how you're selling that siding. So the secondary part, like your main siding page, oh, absolutely, the contractor will know who they're talking about. If it's like an educational facility, if it's a doctor, it doesn't matter. You know what your patients are asking you. You know what the students' parents are asking. That's what's on that main page. That fuels your topic, and you answer those questions. And then secondarily, where we build blogs around is the blog pages don't sell the service. They answer those questions in detail. So your main page sells a service, and you answer and talk about what you do when you go to do that sales pitch with a client, and you deal with what they're asking you. Your other content, like blogs, is answering the questions about that. So let's take education. You might be a private school that, say you focus on preschoolers. Well, you might be writing a blog answering a question of how much screen time is too much for my preschooler? How does reading to my preschooler help their education? You're answering questions that people have about your main topic. It's not a sales pitch. And where you get messed up with SEO is when you try and make every page be everything. So what works for SEO is each page has its purpose, and you don't ultra combine those purposes. I would, on those blogs, you've got a little mini sales pitch at the bottom, like where you're trying to soft sell people, and you link to your services, of course. But the main purpose is you keep your purpose in your page on topic. The main purpose is to answer that question. You don't try and sell on that page. You sell on the other page. And if you do that, then Google identifies your page as the answer to that question much more than it does others who meander off the topic. When they're looking for a siding replacement contractor, it begins to value your main siding page more. When they're looking for a private school, it values your more private school more. And so Google will adjust based on what they're asking, the results. But yeah, that's how good SEO works nowadays. You capture the main things people are looking for about your main service you're selling, and then your other content answers other additional questions they're asking about that service.